after this.
But he can't, though. That's what I'm saying. Like, he's not even equipped to fight this dude. He's not. It's going to have to be a bunch of stuff in there. Joshua will punish this man.
It's impossible for somebody like Anthony Joshua, who is so big and so strong, to even think he's going to take it easy. Because even if he tries to take it easy, he's so powerful, so strong that even those punches that are being easy are still going to hurt.
At the press conference, Anthony Joshua firmly cautioned Jake Paul, calling him delusional for believing he can actually win. He also stated that he accepted this matchup largely for financial reasons, viewing it strictly as a smart business move, and stressed that once the opening bell rings, he is still the clearly superior boxer.
Yeah, I deliver what I was supposed to deliver years ago. I deliver what they ran from. I deliver what he asked for $50 million for. I'm going to give him a $50 million knockout.
I honestly listen to what people say sometimes. They're avoided, this person's running. I honestly think some people are deluded. Really, I do think that they've got some sort of a long-term concussion because no one's running. In terms of 50 million, I'm a businessman. If there was 50 million...
Chris Algieri explains that this bout gives Anthony Joshua an ideal chance to re-enter the ring. After a spell of inactivity following his most recent defeat, Joshua can treat this matchup as a platform to restore confidence and rebuild competitive sharpness. The contest allows him to secure a sizable payday while keeping danger relatively low, almost resembling a controlled, technical sparring session, so Algieri clearly notes Joshua gains financially, mentally, and physically, ultimately making it a carefully calculated comeback move.
What are we talking here? Like, it's going to be an exhibition? No, it's a fight. You're a heavyweight. You're calling out heavyweights. You're calling out a heavyweight. You're calling out Anthony Joshua, former world champion. You're calling him out on short notice. It's a fight. You're going to wear 10-ounce gloves and you're going to fight 10 rounds, and that's what it is. I don't understand any idea of anything else. Oh, it's going to be 8-2s. Is it going to be 15-ounce gloves? What the hell are we doing? This is boxing. You want to fight a real guy? You're fighting a real guy, which I am very respectful. And I respect the hell out of Jake Paul if he does step in the ring with Anthony Joshua, no matter what happens. Kid's got balls of steel, and I applaud you.
Well, the reason I say we don't know yet because Jake Paul has fought in his last fight with Gervonta Davis was going to be an exhibition. They had to do that because of the weight difference. This is still a weight difference here. I mean, the Anthony
No,
Joshua,
there's not. No, it's not. It's heavyweight. It's the same weight class.
Well, what do you consider Jake Paul? Cruiserweight or heavyweight?
Heavyweight. How much did he weigh his last fight?
He's fought at cruiserweight. He's also fought at heavyweight. Against Tyson was at heavyweight.
What was his last fight? He's a cruiser. He's a heavyweight.
What was
he was two?
Fight?
It was
his last fight with the cruiser against Chavez. Whatever, you know what I mean. Like the reason about the Davis fight,
he fought Chavez after Tyson. I guess Tyson was that long ago. Wow,
that was a year ago. This week, I was looking at my Instagram memories. I was in Dallas, Texas, getting ready for me pooping my pants on Netflix. That was about a year ago. Exhibition. These are questions that are asked. These are questions that are...
Eddie Hearn explains that Anthony Joshua is genuinely interested in facing Jake Paul, but insists the situation must be handled carefully because of Paul's unpredictable tendencies. He points out that Jake has a pattern of agreeing to opponents and then pulling out or postponing bouts late in the process, which complicates scheduling, promotion, and serious preparation considerably. As a result, Joshua's team stays ready for sudden changes while continuing to train with a clear, disciplined game plan and mindset. Hearn adds that if Paul truly commits to the contest, it could generate a massive payday for Joshua, potentially rivaling the biggest purses of his career so far. At the same time, he stresses the need to balance hype with sensible decision-making, patiently ensuring Joshua benefits fully from the event without needless chaos or disruption. Hearn's perspective underlines the importance of patience and readiness, keeping focus on locking in the fight while safeguarding Joshua's long-term ambitions and maximizing the overall projected rewards.
To come to a surprise for many, how close are we to making that fight, Eddie?
Not that close. I mean, there are conversations. There's a lot of hurdles to overcome. But if he's serious about the fight, and if he can get made, there's a very good chance we'll do it.
Is it on Netflix, and what did DAZN have to say of the fact that it might...
One of the hurdles to overcome. But we were going to have an 8-round run out in December. Just so happens it might be against Jake Paul.
Have you spoke to Nikisa? I know you're not friends with him. What are the conversations you've had?
That's who we're talking about, you know. And if they're serious, And if it's real, there's a good chance. But listen, we could wake up tomorrow and he's announced another opponent and he just used AJ's name for clout. Listen, I have to respect him if he takes the fight, but who knows?
What do you think Dana White will make of this fight?
I mean, he did Mayweather against McGregor. He doesn't like Jake Paul. I really couldn't care less what he thinks about the fight. AJ's going to make close to or around a career high payday and will take...
Pauli Malignaggi emphasizes that Anthony Joshua will treat the matchup with total seriousness, even if it ends up officially labeled as an exhibition contest. He notes that throughout his career, Joshua has never taken any opponent lightly, and once he steps through the ropes, he brings full concentration, punching power, and refined technique. Malignaggi points out that Joshua's discipline, sense of timing, and ring intelligence enable him to spot openings and punish errors with ruthless efficiency and authority. Ryan Garcia echoes this assessment, saying that even if Joshua dials back his aggression, his natural strength and accuracy still make every shot extremely dangerous and punishing for opponents. Together, their views underline that Jake Paul is confronting a truly legitimate physical threat, so the contest cannot be brushed off as mere promotional spectacle. They further argue that Joshua's long experience at the elite heavyweight level allows him to dictate tempo, distance, pressure, and momentum effectively. Analysts firmly conclude that Paul must show tactical awareness and durability throughout, because Joshua's power and skill create a risky environment where any lapse could carry severe, damaging consequences for him personally.
Out of the bag now. And if you listen to this, it's definitely out of the bag.
Yeah, the Fight for 84, big boxing movie that's hitting Netflix soon about the Olympic 84 team starring Jamie Foxx and Chris Algieri.
I am not starring in anything, but whatever. Yeah, no, I got a credit. I'm in it. I got some lines. So
that's amazing. That is so cool. I mean, this couldn't get any cooler. You're now in the movie, which is absolutely absurd.
Yeah,
what a day.
Hopefully,
what a life.
Hopefully, maybe there'll be more of this. Who knows? Who knows?
I think it's just the beginning. I think this podcast is numbered. Our days are numbered.
No way. I'm never letting this go, Dan. This is I'm a ride or die.
I hope you get so big and become such a big actor that you are like delaying production because you have to film our podcast in your trailer.
Chris is in his trailer. He's got to finish his podcast with Dan.
They're like, who's Dan? Johnny Drama style.
Yeah, love it. Yeah, just total diva. Total diva in every way possible.
Yes. Like we said, this episode is brought to you by ppv.com. December 6th, we're going to see Pitbull Cruz versus Lamont Roach. And guess what? We're going to talk to Lamont Roach on this episode. I caught up with Lamont and to get his thoughts on the fight with Pitbull, to get his thoughts on Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua, which we're going to get to in a second, to get his thoughts on 140, potentially fighting at 135. That's coming up in just a little bit with Lamont Roach. Don't forget to order that fight with us at ppv.com and all the good stuff that comes along with that. That's December 6th. Lamont Roach is an awesome interview. Great guy.
Awesome guy. Forget the interview. He's just a good dude. I told you to tell him what's up. You probably didn't.
He said what's up. He goes, where is he? I said, he's on a movie set. He goes, oh yeah. He's got those movie star looks.
See, that's what I get. But yeah, no, he's a good dude. We see him. He trains down in Florida now. He's over at the Pro Box TV training facility. So we get to see him down there training. He's whipping on all the guys over there. But good people, good dude. Good. His dad's awesome. His brother Jordan's great. He's another one to look out for. I think he's a flyweight? I think he's a flyweight coming up, or a bantamweight. But yeah, great family, good boxing family, great boxing heritage.
Yeah, and I can't wait for that mega card. Big card, December 6th, and he's the headliner. So we're going to get to him in a second. Some big news broke. Shocking news. According to Ring Magazine, Anthony Joshua is going to step in for Gervonta Davis and fight Jake Paul. We don't know yet if it's an exhibition. We don't know yet the rules set. We don't know the date. These are preliminary talks that are ongoing. Yes, I work for MVP.
Dave Allen challenges the notion that Anthony Joshua should steer clear of Jake Paul simply because the matchup appears unconventional or circus-like. He stresses that Joshua remains in peak athletic shape, and unlike retired veterans who may have lost speed or punching force, Joshua still possesses every attribute needed to dominate inside the ropes. Allen argues that many supporters underestimate how serious these kinds of events really are, dismissing them as pure spectacle at times today. In reality, Joshua's blend of athleticism, strength, and technical ability makes him a genuinely dangerous opponent. The analysis firmly insists this clash is not only about entertainment and showmanship. Joshua's preparation, professionalism, and extensive experience mean he can impose his style, pace, and will on virtually any rival. Allen concludes that the matchup demands focus, respect, and recognition of Joshua's world-class skills, regardless of the media noise and promotional hype surrounding the event.
Probably shouldn't be licensed, but Florida are very kind of easy commission to get. Yeah, it'll be called an exhibition.
It will be an exhibition.
It probably will be called an exhibition.
What's the point?
For me, as long as that fight you mentioned just now, Spencer, as long as that roadmap is there and it's signed that he fights an interim guy as a warm-up afterwards and fights Tyson Fury next year and Fury's on board, I'm great with it. Otherwise, I do think his legacy's damaged if his last fight is with Jake Paul.
An exhibition is a waste of time. They're for retired fighters. For retired fighters, it's a load of rubbish.
Yeah, listen, the guy's still in his athletic prime. I personally don't see the reason why they can't just do the Tyson Fury fight. Why do we need interims?
Well, we all want that.
Yeah, but why do we need interims? Why do we need warm-ups? We're talking about two experienced guys who've been the best, as you just said, of the last 10, 20 years. Let's get the fight on.
It's as ridiculous as Gervonta Davis going in with him, basically, isn't it, with Jake Paul,
Quite
frankly.
so different mindsets. And what, again, listening to Eddie today and what he was saying, the damage that Anthony Joshua suffered mentally, not physically, because physically he's still all there, but mentally against Daniel Dubois, he needs to go through that process again. And they said, that's just the whole getting your hands wrapped up, doing it, whether it's Jake Paul, whether it's a top 100 fighter, you go, that's the way Anthony Joshua ticks. He needs that before going into the, all roads lead to Fury, right? We all know that.
Analysts point out that Jake Paul is now entering a matchup with someone much closer to his own level of active competition, rather than the older or retired fighters he has previously faced. While that shift brings the kind of challenge many fans have long wanted to see, it also heightens the physical risk for Paul considerably. Commentators stress that because Joshua's skill, power, and experience far surpass anything Paul has known before, the bout could carry serious, possibly lasting consequences for him personally.
Yeah, than the Mike Tyson fight. It's hard to say, really. Tyson was a big name, but it's going to do numbers regardless because Joshua is a big name and then people are going to be tuning in to see Jake Paul get knocked out. Right now, Eddie Hearn talks about Jake Paul taking this Joshua fight.
I mean, my estimations of Jake Paul would go through the roof if he signs to fight Anthony Joshua because I just can't believe in my mind that he would do something like that. I mean, Gervonta was a smart one because of his size. Like, you know, I think actually he would have had a lot of success against Jake Paul, but the size is a problem. But this would just be, you know, like if Jake Paul was to take the fight with AJ, you'd really have to maybe carry his balls in a wheelbarrow on the ring walk, you know, because AJ wouldn't mess around in there, you know. So it would be huge, but nothing, you know, to tell you it's close, just a few conversations so far.
Damn right, if Jake Paul takes this fight, he's got some major balls on him. And I know people hate influencer boxing, but come on, he's not fighting an old, retired, past the prime MMA fighter. No, he's fighting a legit boxer who's massive, 6'5", 6'6", jacked, 240, 250 pounds, shredded, power puncher. Do we need to remind ourselves of what Joshua did to Francis Ngannou? Francis Ngannou was coming off a pretty good performance over Tyson Fury. He didn't get the win in that fight, but you could argue that he did actually win that fight. And Ngannou, throughout his entire MMA career, in 4-ounce gloves, very rarely got hit. He could take a punch. He's got a big, fat African head. Big, thick neck, traps, back. He just can't really be hit. And look what Joshua did to Ngannou. Out cold. So what do you think Joshua is going to do to Jake Paul? Jake Paul better start loading up on that trenbolone. He needs to start eating Anavar like Skittles.
Some argue this showdown rivals even the massive Mike Tyson spectacle.
Gold medalist, unified champion at the heavyweight division. He is 6'6", 250 pounds. And also, I do think.
Oh my God.
I do. Jake Paul 6'1", about 220. I want to say this though. I think Anthony Joshua, he's made stupid money in his career. Dumb money in his career. I don't think he's going to be in a position to be accepting BS terms with Jake Paul if this is really what's going to end up happening. I think we're actually going to get to see Jake Paul against a former heavyweight champion of the world. Do I think that's a smart idea? Absolutely not. For Jake Paul, do I think it would sell? Absolutely. Do I think it'd be very interesting and people would tune in to see if he gets his head knocked off? Absolutely. I genuinely, I hate to say it.
Analysts emphasize that Anthony Joshua's background as an Olympic gold medalist and former unified heavyweight champion makes him an exceptionally serious opponent under any conditions. They argue that his mix of technical craft, knockout power, and extensive experience clearly separates him from every fighter Jake Paul has shared the ring with so far. Joshua's ability to study an opponent, adapt his tactics during the contest, and deliver sharp, punishing punches means even small mistakes from Paul could be ruthlessly exploited. Observers repeatedly underlined that Joshua's resume and physical tools put him on an entirely different tier. Paul, by comparison, has built his record against aging MMA stars and limited boxers, not against active elite heavyweights. That contrast in pedigree, they insist, is impossible to ignore and should genuinely worry his supporters and backers everywhere. Experts go on to note that this matchup is not some casual exhibition that can be shrugged off as a harmless stunt. They stress that it requires full focus, disciplined preparation, and deep respect for Joshua's capabilities. Commentators highlight Joshua's height, reach, strength, and conditioning as key advantages that allow him to control distance, set the tempo, and dominate exchanges. In their view, Paul might enter the ring confident, but he is stepping into a situation where underestimating a former world champion could lead to brutal consequences. Joshua's track record against world-class heavyweights has sharpened his timing, defense, and ring IQ, giving him the tools to neutralize unconventional styles and sudden bursts of offense from ambitious challengers everywhere.
He probably sees what Alexander Usyk, who's now the undisputed, one of the greatest heavyweights of all time now after beating all these guys. He was a smaller guy, went up, he's like 6'2", 6'3", about 200 pounds at first. Now he's probably sitting at about 220, 230. Similar size to Jake Paul. Yeah. Went up and beat all these guys. Granted, Usyk, greatest amateur boxer at that weight class ever. Mm-hmm. I think it's going to be interesting, but I do think Jake Paul is in a good position.
The only fear is this.
I hate to give him credit.
If Jake Paul gets his block knocked off completely.
Yeah, very possible.
The Jake Paul experiment is over. It's a wrap. Because if you step into the ring, everybody thus far is wondering and has wondered, like, what would happen versus a legitimate boxer?
Yeah.
And in their relative shape. Not a 50-year-old Floyd.
Yeah.
Not a 60-year-old Mike. We've all asked ourselves, well, what happens if you fight a real fighter? The problem is, once you fight a real fighter and you get beat down, the hypothesis is gone. So now we don't need to wait to see the experiment. Y'all know what we do every year. We say the best college team could beat the worst NFL team.
Yeah.
And it's nasty. A fun debate.
Yeah.
Because if you don't really know ball, if you don't really know ball, though, you'll be like, man, but if 10 players on Georgia would start for the Cleveland Browns right now. But if they actually...
Oladipo points out that this matchup ranks among the biggest fights on the current boxing landscape, attracting huge attention from both fans and mainstream media outlets everywhere. He notes that Anthony Joshua's status as a former heavyweight champion and Olympic gold medalist gives the event extra credibility and drama, turning it into a truly global attraction. Supporters are eager for explosive exchanges and the possibility of a spectacular knockout, which raises the intensity and spectacle surrounding the bout dramatically. Oladipo adds that Joshua's experience, ring craft, and power ensure the fight will be treated with seriousness, not dismissed as a gimmick at all. The combination of Joshua's established reputation and Jake Paul's massive online popularity creates enormous buzz, keeping the contest at the center of conversation throughout boxing circles and general sports coverage worldwide today.
And this is, for Jake Paul, a much bigger fight than fighting Gervonta Davis. And I mean bigger, not just in the sense of who he's fighting and the size of AJ. I mean bigger in terms of numbers. Like Jake Paul versus AJ does way bigger numbers for me than Gervonta versus AJ. I think this actually does bigger numbers than Terence Crawford versus Canelo. I really do. I think this is, again, if it makes money, it makes sense. Let's talk about the negativity. And look, I get it. Like, if you're like me, I still believe, and look, some might say, well, AJ's just going to pick up, who knows what the numbers are, 80, 100 million, right? And then continue on his trajectory or career to potentially become a world champion again. I don't like this pause. This is just me. I still believe that AJ can do damage in the heavyweight division. I believe that. Again, some people are like, no, he's done. Okay, cool. I believe that AJ can do damage again. I look at the heavyweight division and I remove Alexander Usyk from it, and I'm like, AJ can beat a lot of those guys. So I like the idea of AJ staying busy and having real fights against real heavyweights. So I'm not a fan of this pause, especially considering that we've not seen AJ in the ring since September 2024. It's a long time. It's a long, long time. So if AJ has this fight, we're not going to see AJ in the ring properly until the spring. It's a long, long time. If AJ was busy, and then had this fight in between, I guess I wouldn't be too mad with it. I get it, right? If someone knocks on your door and says, do you want to fight Jake Paul for 100 million? You're like, you'd be stupid to say no. No, I don't want that 100 million for what would be and will be